Yeah, hi, good morning everyone. Yes, good morning. So let's start the session. Any doubts in the previous class? That is some part of the chapter number 35. Any doubts, anyone? Okay, just so again repeating or again we can see the briefing, the ideas about documentation, what are the various parts of the chapter number 35. So let's begin with the previous class session, what we have covered in the last class, that is chapter number 35, Java documentation, how to make the documentation part, how to give the comments in the Java programming. Now, first of all, yes, just a minute. So first of all, please clear in mind that comments are very useful in the Java programming or any programming because that makes the program as a user friendly. So if there is no teacher, if there is no guidance for you, you can easily understand the program by studying the or by using the comments. So this is very fruitful for any programming language. That may be a Java, that may be a C, that may be C++, and any programming language that is used. So this chapter is related to the comments only. That's why it is chapter name is a Java documentation. Documentation means some written purpose or written words or the written sentences. Comments are used as a documentation part that contains a Java documentation. So there are three types of comment that are used by the Java that are included in the Java language. What are the three types of comments? One is a single line comment that we have studied in the last class yesterday. Then there's a multi-line command. There's a documentation command that is very important or unique in the Java programming. Multi-line and the single line commands are available in the C and the C++ language also. But when we talk about the documentation command, that is only unique or that is only available in the Java programming or the Java language. So first one is a whenever we are using the asterisks, that means we are using the multi-line comments. So the compiler ignores everything from this to this. This to this means from the slash, then there is a asterisk, then whatever the words, whatever the explanation we are giving, whatever the comments we are giving, then close with the asterisk and there is a slash. So the compiler ignores everything from this, from the asterisk or from the slash to the slash. Then there is a single line comment that is representable by the double slash. So one is the asterisk and the slash, one is the double slash that is used for the single line comment. Then last part, next one, third one is a documentation. It starts with a slash, then there are two stars. In between, we are using the documentation, that is a javadoc tool. Then there is a asterisk, then there is a slash. So first of all, there is a slash, double asterisk, then documentation, that is a comments, then asterisk, and then there is a slash. And this is the documentation command that is generally used or known as the doc command. And the JDK Java doc tool uses doc commands when preparing automatically generated documents. So whenever we are preparing the doc commands, so they are using the JDK or the Java doc commands that use the doc commands by preparing or when preparing automatically generated documentation. That means whenever we are using the documentation, whenever we are writing the programs and we are giving the comment that automatically prepared by the Java doc tool that is available in the Java programming. So in assignment, if the question arises, which is a command that is only used in the Java programming? So which command is used? That is the documentation part, and by the use of the Java doc file. Yes, one more thing, not related to this Java programming. Today is the last class of this module, that is the Java or programming in the Java. From Monday onwards, we are starting with a new module. Yes, that is the data analysis and the design. Something related to the system analysis that we have studied in the previous module. What are the various SDLC steps, that is system development lifecycle? What are the PERT chart, Gantt chart, CPM? So all these theory subjects, that is how to build the system. Okay. Yes. If you have doubts in the Mondays in the Java programming, you can bring the doubts in the Mondays class. There's no issue. So let's now focus on this Java documentation. Next topic that we have covered is the Java doc, that is a Java documentation. So it is a tool that comes with a JDK. and it is used for generating the Java documentation or Java code documentation in HTML format. So whenever we are using the HTML format that is used for the documentation, that is used from the Java source code, which has the required documentation in a predefined format. So whenever we are using the HTML format for the documentation part that is used in the Java source file, that is defined in the predefined format that is available with the javadoc. It is a tool that comes with a JDK and used for generating the Java code documentation. And it is this is a program that shows how this is the code that represents how to use the or how to use or make the Java programming useful for the comments. So how to use the Java comments, same program that we studied in the last class. In this, first of all, my question is to all of you: how do I know that this is a documentation tool or the documentation comment? Yes, very correct. Because it starts with a slash and there are two asterisks, so I can identify easily that this is a documentation comment. This is the hello world program implements an interface or application that simply displays the hello world to the standard output. Then at the rate author Java or Jara Ali, then version 1.0, then since same format YYYY, and then there is a month in a two format, two digit format. Then there is a date from 1 to the 31. And this is a normal class that is declared normal program hello world, then using the void main function for printing on the screen, that is hello world. Nothing new in this program. Now next one is using the HTML codes within the documentation part within the javadoc file. So we are using two commands. One is the h1 tag, two tags. One is the h1 tag for the heading, one is a p tag for the paragraph. So first one is h1, then hello world, h1 is closed, then hello world program implements an application that simply displays hello world to the standard output. Then p tag for the paragraph tag, then at the rate author Zara Ali, then version 1.0, and since 2014 331. So this is available within the documentation part. Then next one is the same class, that is hello world, then void main function for printing on the screen. The difference is that in the previous program we are not using any HTML code, any HTML tags, that is h1 or the p tag, but in this we are using the h1 tag and the p tag. Next we have studied about the javadoc tags, that is what are the various suitable tags that is only used in the documentation part. They are not the HTML tags, but they are the javadoc tags that is used within the documentation comment. So first one is at the rate author. So this adds the author of a class. So adding the name of the author that is representable by the at the rate author tag. There is a at the rate code. Now this is very important that this code is used within the curly braces only. That is curly brace, opening curly braces, then there is a at the rate code, then there is a closing curly braces. Then at the rate doc root. So this also represents the relative part to the generated document root directly from any generated page, that is at the rate doc root. Then depreciated, adding a comment indicating the API, that is application programming interface, that is no longer be used with the depreciated. Then exception, that adds a throws subheading to the generated documentation. So whenever we are using the at the rate exception, that means we are using the tag that simply make the documentation with the class name and the description text. Then at the rate link. This is something related to the linkage we have studied in the HTML. One is within the page, one is to the external page, one is to the external website. So there are three types of links. So in the same way, there is a at the rate link tag that is used with the Java documents. This inserts an inline link with visible text label that points to the documentation for the specified package, class, or member name of a reference class. So whenever we are using the package, class, or the number or the name of reference class, that is linked with the at the rate link. Then at the rate link plain, so this is identical to the at the rate link. The main difference is that it is displayed in the plain text in that code form. Then @param tag, this is used for you adding the parameter with a specified parameter name followed by the specified description to the parameter section, that's @param. Then @return, so this adds a return to section with the specified text. So whenever we are using any return value that is specified by the @return. For example, this is a program, this is returning, that is @return, whatever the content, that is hello world or have a nice day, anything. And next one is @serial data, @serial field. This first one, @serial data, this document the data written by the right object or the right external methods. Then next one is @serial field. So this adds a documentation stream field object that is used for the object stream, that may be an input stream, that may be an output stream. Then @since, so this adds a since heading with a specified since text to generated documentation, that is @since. That means what is the date when the document is, or when the author or when the book is published, release, that is @since release. Then throws, @throws and the exception tags are the synonym with each other, that is similar with each other. So whenever we are using the throw, it is catch by the catch exception or the catch by the catch block, that is used with the exception. So these are the two identical, or we can say the similar tags that is used. One is the @throws and the @exception. This is a program that shows how to use these tags by using the H1, by using the P tag. So any doubt in this program? Okay. So just again repeating this program on also. So the documentation about the addnum. So just do one thing. Read these methods carefully, and within 2 minutes, yes. So read this, these methods, these tags, tags within 2 minutes. So let's begin with the program. Any doubts, anyone in this javadoc tags? So this is a program that shows how to use these tags, that is used for the documentation comments, and you can use these tags also whenever there is a requirement. This is not that mandatory that all the tags are used in one program. No, whenever there is a requirement for the documentation comments, we can use the tags, these tags. For example, it starts with the import java.input output. What is java.input output? Yes, this is used for the input and the output, that is a stream. And this program or the documentation also about the addnum class that will be produced in a HTML file, that is addnum.html. But same time, a master file with the name index.html will also be created. So there is an import java.input output star, then slash asterisk, then there is a asterisk for the h1, adds the two numbers, then there is a h1 will be closed. The add num program implements an application that simply adds two given integer numbers and prints the output on the screen. So there is an output that is printed on the screen. So this implements an application that simply adds two number or given integers or numbers and prints the output on the screen by using the addnum program. So this represents that if there is no knowledge of the Java programming, so this represents that what is the output of the program, what is the input of the program, what is the processing of the program. So what is the input, what is the program, what is the processing, and what is the output. So this says the addnum program implements an application that simply adds. That means we are using the program name of the program is the addnum that simply adds two numbers, two given integer number. This is also specified that this is the integer number, that is a real number, not the decimal numbers, and also prints the output on the screen. That means these three lines clarify what is going to process, what is the input, how many numbers are taken up by the user, and what is the output. After this, there is a P tag for the paragraph, and this we are using the B. B means B tag is used for the bold. That means NOTE. NOTE, that is a note, is representing in the bold, that is slightly darker than the normal text. Giving proper comments in a program makes it more user-friendly, and it is assumed as a high-quality code. This is note that is given with the program, that is given in a program, that shows giving the proper comments in your program makes it more user-friendly, and it is assumed as a high-quality code. Then at the rate author Zara Ali, that's the same author name is Zara Ali, then the version is the 1.0, since same date 2014, year, then month is 03 and the date is 3131. So first one is H1, then explanation, then P for the paragraph, then B for the bold that gives the proper comment in the proper comment in your program, makes it user friendly and assumed as a high quality code. Next class is public class at num. We are using the new class, we are taking the new class as at num. Name of the class is at num. Again, in this class, there is a curly braces. Again, there is a documentation code. So one is a documentation code that is a starting purpose that is used beyond the or above the class, that is add num. After this, there is a hash or the star asterisk, and there is again the documentation part. This method is used to add the two integers, and this is the simplest form of a class method just to show the usage of the various Java code tags. This I think this is clear to each and everyone. This is again the command that shows what is going to do in this class. So this class is used, or this method is used to add the two integers, and this is the simplest form of the class method just to show the usage. Usage means what is the scenario that is used for this program. So this method is used to add the two integers, that is the simplest form of the class method, just to show the usage of various Java code, javadoc tags. That means this is the explanation that is given for what is going to do in the class add num. That is what is the usage of the add num. Then at the rate param num a, this is the first parameter. Then at the rate param num2, this is the second parameter. This is the second argument of the second parameter. Then at the rate return in, this returns the sum of the num a and the num b. So look over this documentation, this comment, everything is clear about the program. Even though yes, these two lines are used for the representation of the what are the various variables, what are the various arguments, parameter that is passed, and at last there is a return type. That means what is a return type? That may be an integer, that may be a float, that may be a double. So which is the data type that is used for returning the output? So from this comment, I think the program is clear to you. So there is no need to explain the program. Now just do one thing, try the program. Okay, let's see. So this is the public int add num. Add num is the name of the name of the function, name of the method. Then int num a, int num b. Then return num a plus num b. Num a, num b are the two parameter that is specified in the comments also. Num a is the first parameter, num b is the second parameter. So int num a, num b. Return num a plus num b. Then this is the closing of this class. So this is the starting of this class, curly brace. This is the closing of this class, curly brace. Now again we are using the documentation comments, that is the asterisk slash asterisk. This is the main method that makes use of the add num method. So again this is clear that in this program, in this part, we are going to use a void main that is showing the add num method, that is using the add num method. There's a public static void main string args throws input output exception, then add num obj, creating a new object that is equals to the new add num function. We are using the sum function as an integer, obj.add num 1020. So we are passing the two arguments, one is a num a, one is a num b. Num is a is taking the value as a 10, num b is taking the value as a 20. So 10 and the 20 are used as a num a and the num b, and the output is stored in the sum variable that is of the integer type. So is there any doubt, anyone, or everything is clear from these comments? Then at last we are printing on the screen, that is the sum of the 10 and the 20, that is the num a and the num b is the plus sum. We are showing the variables by using the plus sum. Then close with the semicolon, close with the closing curly braces, close with the next closing curly braces. This is used for the void main, this is used for the main function that starts with the add num. And this is the output for this. Now let's move to the next part, next topic, next chapter, last chapter. That is only the one topic is left for this chapter. What are the various Java library classes that is used? What are the various library classes that is used in the Java? That is the Java library classes. So let's finish this these 2 pages only, then wind up with this module, that is the programming in the Java. Yes, this module is basically finished by the May end, but due to some delays, due to the technical upgrades, I'm not able to take the classes. So that's why it is delayed by the 10 days. Don't worry, we'll finish the course by the due date, that is September 2016. It's okay. So next one is the Java library classes. And this part covers the package, that is the java.language, which provides the classes that are fundamental to the design of the Java programming language. That means we are using the java.language, LANG, that provides the classes that are fundamental. So this provides the classes means this provides a version that provides the fundamental to the design of the Java programming language. And the most important classes are the object, which is the root of the class direct. So the most important part or the most important class that is used is the object. That is the root, that is the first part of the class hierarchy, and the class instance that represent the class at the runtime. So one is the object, one is the instance. And this is the list of the classes of the package java.lang. Over here in the package the P is missing, so please correct in the book P. It is available with it is showing with the ACAGE, but it is also used with the P, that is a package. And these classes are very important to know for a Java programmers. Click a class link to know more detail about the class, and for the further we are using the standard Java documentation. So these are the few classes that is used in the library, that is used as a library. Now my question is to Larry, to you. What do you mean by the library in this programming or any programming language? What is the meaning of library? Yes, very correct answer. Library means a predefined classes. Predefined means that is by default available or automatically available whenever we are using the programming. So there is no need to write the program. There is no need to write the library class, but these are the predefined, that is predefined available with the Java programming. Like we have studied in the C++, there is a IO stream, there is a if stream, that is automatically library classes that is used in the C++. In the same way, this table shows what are the various library classes that is used in the Java programming. So the first method is a Boolean. So Boolean is also one of the library class. This is also a keyword as well as a library class that is used in the Java. Then byte. What is the meaning of the, yes, Boolean. Now listen. Boolean displays the output or returns the output as a true or the false, that is either yes or no, that is either 1 or 0. True is represented by the 1 and the false is represented by the 0. Next one is a byte. Byte, this is a byte, not a bit. Bit is a 0 and the 1. Byte is a collection of the 8 bits. So the byte class wrap means combines a value of the primitive type byte in an object. So whenever we are wrapping, whenever we are combining the primitive data type byte in an object, that is done or that is explained by the method byte. Then character. So this the character class wraps a value of the primitive type char in an object. Byte is simple, character is simple, class is simple. Now next one is a class loader. This is used for the compilation for loading the object. So class loader is an object that is responsible for loading the classes. Loading the classes means compiling, executing, whatever we are using in the programming. Whenever we are writing the program, so there's a compiler that compiles the program, and there's an interpreter that also compiles the program or converts into the binary language. So there's a class loader, that is an object that is responsible for loading the classes. Next part is a compiler, same one. This is used to support so everyone wants 2 minutes break because I'm going to okay, just take 2 minutes break. Next method, next library class that is used with the compiler. So this class is used to support Java to native code, compilers and the related services. That means whenever we are going to, or whenever the compiler, whenever the computer program needs to compile. That means converting the main program into the bits. That means a 0-1 terms that is run by the compiler. This also supports the Java to native class compilers and the related services. Next part is a double. So this class wraps a value of the primitive type double in an object. Wrap means again the combining. This combines a value of the primitive type double in an object. Then float. This wraps a value of the primitive type float in an object. Yeah, this is the data type. So whenever we are using the decimal points, we are using the double type. Then float. Again using the point, that is a decimal type. Then integer. This class wraps a value of the primitive type int in an object. One is a double that wraps a primitive type double. Float that wraps a primitive type float. Integer that wraps a value of the primitive type int in an object. Then long. This wraps a class of the primitive type long in an object. So these are the basics of basic strengths library classes that we have already used in the various programming or various programs that we have studied in different chapters. First is a boolean that shows the output, that returns the output either in a true or the false, that is either in a 1 or the 0. Then byte, and this represents a value of the primitive type byte. Then character, primitive type character. Then class, this represents the classes and the interfaces in a running Java application. Then class loader, this is responsible for loading the classes, uploading the classes basically. Then compiler, this is a Java to native code compilers and the related services. Then double, this also wraps a value of the primitive type double in an object. Then float, integer, and the long. So these are the few data types. One is a double, then float, then long. This wraps a value of the primitive type double in an object. And this wraps a value of the primitive type long in an object, that is a long. So one is double, then float, then integer, then long. Next one is a math. This is used for making the mathematical calculations. So this math, not the math, this is not available, only a math, that is a math. This class contains method for performing basic numeric operations such as the elementary exponential, log terms, square root, and the trigonometric functions. So if I want to perform the elementary exponential function, log function, square root function, and the trigo functions, the trigo operations, so we have to include the library class as the header file, that is a math.h. In the same way we are using the iostream.h. In the same way there is a hash include math.h. After this, next one is a number. This is used for the classes big decimal. So whenever we are using the classes, the class name as a big decimal, big integer, so we are using the number data or the number library class and number. This is the super class of the classes big decimal, big integer, byte, double, float, integer, long, and the short. So these are the super classes of the classes big decimal, big integer, byte, double, float, integer, long, and the short. Then next one is the object. So this class object is the root of the class hierarchy. Next one is package. This contains the version information, which is a latest version of the Java we are using, which is the correct version we are using, what is the relative path, what is the absolute path. So this contains the version information about the implementation and the specification of the Java package. Then process. This is used with the runtime.exec, that is the executable methods. So this is used with the executable methods that is showing with the runtime.exec method that creates a native process, as well as returning an instance of the subclass of process that is used to control the process and obtain the information. So whenever there is an instance, whenever there is a returning of the instance of a subclass of process, that can be used to control the processes and obtain the information, that controlling then that subclass will be used as a process information. Then runtime. So every Java application has a single instance of the class runtime. That means whenever we are using the Java application that have a single instance that have a single layout of the class runtime, that allows the application to use in an environment in which the application is running. So when the application is running in the runtime environment, we are going to use the runtime as a library class. Any doubts, anyone till now? Okay. Next one is a runtime permission. So one is a runtime, only runtime. That is a single instance of a class runtime. One is a runtime permission. So this class is used for the runtime permissions. Runtime permission means at the time of the running, at the time of the running in the sense compilation, what are the various permission? That may be a read permission, that may be a write permission, that may be execute permission. So there are three types of permissions: read, write, execute. So what are the various runtime permissions that is used in the Java programming? This is also one of the library class, also one of the predefined class that is used in the Java programming. Then security manager. This is a class that allows the application to implement a security policy. That is a security manager. Then short. This class wraps a value of the primitive type short in an object. Then stack trace element. So an element in a stack trace is used that is written by the throw dot get stack trace. We are using the stack trace function. This is the throw dot the stack trace function, or the method that is used with the stack trace element. So whenever we are using the program that throws anything and catches the exception, so we have to use, or we have to implement, we have to define the class, define the library class as a stack element or the stack trace element. Then strict math. One is only math, one is a strict math that is used for the various performing the numeric operations. What are the various numeric operations? That is the trigonometric operations, square root functions. Yeah, this is very similar to the math function also. One is a strict math, one is a math. There's no difference in these. And next one is a string. So this represents a character strings. Character strings means combination of the multiple characters. Now, next is string buffer. Do you remember about the C++? In the C++, we have studied about the string buffer. And this, there is a string buffer that contains or that implements a mutable sequence of the characters, or sequence of character that is contains multiple characters. So there's a string buffer that implements a mutable sequence of characters, and the system class contains several useful class fields and the methods. Then thread, it is a thread of the execution in a program. So whenever we are executing something, so this is a thread of the execution in a program. Then thread group, a thread group represents a set of the threads. So one is only a thread, that is a sequence of the threads, that is a thread of the execution in a program. Then thread group means combination or the set of the threads. Set means a combination or the group. So whenever we are combining multiple threads, that is a set of the threads, that is a thread group. This represents the set of the threads. Next is a thread local. So this class provides the thread local variables. So one is a thread, one is a thread group, one is a thread local. Thread means a single execution of the thread. Group means a set of the threads or the combination of the threads that is used, or that represents a set of threads. Then thread local. So this class provides a thread local variables. What are the various local variable that is used with the threads? That is representable with the class, that is representable with the header file library class, that is a thread local. Then throwable. This class is a super class of each and every errors and exceptions. So if there's an error, there is any bugs, that exception will be carried out with a throwable class that is used in the Java programming. So we have to define the throwable class that is used in the superclass of each and every error. This is something similar to the exception handling that we have studied in the C++. Next one is a void. So this class is this class acts as a placeholder class to hold a reference to the class object representing the Java keyword void. And this is the last part of this library class, as well as the last topic or the last method of this module, that is programming in Java. Now, any doubts, anyone in the whole module? So we are finished with this module. Any doubts, anyone in this module? Yes, for sure. We will also discuss the doubts in the Mondays class. There is no issue that we are going to start the new module in the Monday, so your doubts are, yes. I'm asking right now, any doubts, anyone? So we'll be starting the new module in the Mondays class.